Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing a rather disturbing book called The Lullaby. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Harry's Book Cafe. Before we start, I just want to put out a quick trigger warning. So the lullaby, the subject of our discussion today, it's a book about infanticide, about murder of children. Although we as a reader were spared about the details of the murder itself, I understand the subject matter of this book can be quite emotional for many people, especially given to the conviction of Lucy Letby yesterday. This is a rather hot topic right now. So if you are feeling uncomfortable about the subject matter, please sign off now. Okay, so the story is written by Leila Salimani. So she's a French writer, French-Moroccan, I think, and the book was translated into English. I read this book a couple months ago, or a few months ago. I never thought about giving a review, and that was before the start of the Harry's Book Cafe. But given what happened yesterday about Lucy Letby's conviction of murdering 6 babies, I thought it might be relevant to do a review about this particular book. So a little bit about the story. So the book opens up with the actual murder, or the after act of the murder itself. So when we turn to the first page, we already know that 2 children were dead. We were given the details almost immediately from the beginning of the book, and then everything seems to follow through afterwards. The book, especially for the first 2/3, I would say, quite slow. I mean, apart from the first chapter, obviously, telling us what happened without any gruesome details. We were just given a little insight of the police coming to search the apartment, all that sort of thing. But after that, the book really start to get a little bit slow, because the writer needs to build up the characters, the storylines, to make it really work. So the story involves around a couple, Paul and Myriam, and the nanny, Louise, and the couple's 2 kids. The boy is called Adam, the girl, I can't remember her name. So it's centered around these 5 people. The parents very much plays a supporting role. The main focus of the book itself is centered around the nanny and the 2 kids. So Paul is an architect or an accountant, has a professional job, and his wife Myriam, she's a lawyer. So both of them are professional, has a professional occupations. They're very busy. Most of the time they don't have time to look after the kids, so they decided to hire a nanny. The process is gruesome because they have carried out so many interviews, and none of them are quite reached the level of perfection that they were seeking. They never quite feel right about nanny, and it's understandable. You're hiring a nanny, you're basically entrusting the lives of your children to a stranger. Until Louisa turn up. Louisa is a nanny, so she has the perfect resume, she has the perfect manner, and the interview just gone amazingly well for them, and they were really happy with her, and they decided to hire her almost on the spot. Not quite, but the next day. So the boy Adam almost fell in love with the nanny almost immediately, because she knows how to speak with him, she knows how to play with him, she makes the perfect baby food for him. He just loves her almost immediately. The girl, who's slightly older, is a little bit more difficult to deal with, and she likes to throw many tantrums, but again, it does not trouble Louisa, the nanny. She knows from her past experience, from her professionalism, she knows how to deal with tantrums as well. And after she dealt with numerous tantrums, the girl starts to fall in love with her as well. So it's the perfect family. Louisa never complains about having to stay late, being hired by two professionals. They tend to come home sometimes quite late because of the job demands. So Louisa, the nanny, she never really complains. In fact, she seems to relish the extra time that she has to spend with the kids. So everything went well, so perfectly. The couple was just incredibly impressed with Louisa. Before she goes home, she cooked the perfect dinner for the couple, and the food is just phenomenal. They were really, really impressed with her. So much so that they started to host birthday parties and different social events in their posh apartment located in a very salubrious part of Paris. And they friends from all over Paris, from all over France, attend the party. It becomes really renowned. Everyone wants to join the party. And Louisa was the star. She cooks all the food and everyone loved the food. However, during those paragraphs, during these chapters describing the party, you really start to sense from Louisa's part and also from the guest's part that there is a social divide. There's a chasm of class. She's a nanny, whereas the friends and the couple are all in professional jobs. So even though none of those were spoken out loud, there is just a shimmering of attention felt through the conversations. The guests were perfectly polite, but you sense that from the reader's perspective, and certainly from Louisa's body language and her inner thoughts, that this class difference, this class chasm, is really opening up. Even though she's the perfect cook, they don't treat her as socially equal, if you know what I mean. So that's the very, very first hint of disharmony within the household. And then it starts to widen. So afterwards, Paul and Myriam, the couple, decided to have a holiday in Greece with the two kids. Upon the discussion, they discovered that the nanny has nowhere to go during the holiday. So out of moments of heatness, maybe hot-bloodedness from Paul's parts, he invited a nanny to join them. It was a half-hearted invitation, but the nanny accepted with alacrity. So I'm not sure why that part of the book was included, to be perfectly honest. So the following chapters is describing the kids and the couple and Louisa having this wonderful holiday in one of the Greek islands. The sun is shiny. It makes a really huge contrast in terms of temperature, in terms of weather, from rainy Paris. So they all seems to be enjoying the life perfectly. And there's a passage that Louisa, the nanny, was entertained about the idea of not going back to Paris with them. This part is really weird. I can't see what purpose it's trying to achieve. And then the tension starts to build again. So Louisa one day out of boredom, started to paint quite a vulgar makeup on the kids. So Paul the father, came back early that day and saw the makeup and just went absolutely berserk. He was almost screaming at the nanny, saying, "Take that off. It's absolutely disgusting. How can you do something this vulgar to kids?" So that's the second hint of disharmony within. And then suddenly, I mean, it was never mentioned in the beginning of the book, but suddenly Louisa, or to the reader's perspective, it seems so sudden that Louisa developed this urge or bad habit almost of refusing to throw food away, even if they were out of date. So she gets this idea of never throwing food away. So much so that one episode of the story where the Myriam, the mother, threw a out of date cooked chicken into the bin. And then when the couple went out for their work, Louisa then retracted this chicken out of the bin and given to the children to eat. Upon the discovery of this episode, the mother Myriam went absolutely berserk as well. So she really didn't like her anymore. Almost. So the transition between admiration to active dislike, resentment, is very quick. I think that can be done better in the book, to be honest. The transition to one moment you like her, the next moment you hate her. But yeah, so suddenly the couple really wants to get rid of her. And through that part of the book, we discovered that Louisa's personal life is basically a mess. She's in deep financial trouble. She has no money to pay her rent. In the book, we're given that the landlord suddenly visited her and basically told her to get out within a time frame because she's in so much arrear. And the tax office start to writing letters to the couple, telling her that the nanny they're hiring has a huge unpaid tax bill. I don't understand why would you write to the couple what purpose it serves. I don't know. Maybe French authority does it slightly differently. So we were given a glimpse through the crack of a door to see that Louisa's life is pretty much in a mess, and then suddenly she killed the kids. Again, this book is quite. Things change very suddenly without much explanation. Okay, fine, sure, she was in financial distress. She has been like that for a long time. We were given the information towards the end. And then she just killed the kids. Although the book didn't mention how or why, you can't but wonder why. I mean, she was okay, but the change just changes without reason. So it's a very confusing book, at least to my mind. I can't find the underlying reason. I can't find the motivation for the murder. It's weird, and it's very, very, very slow, to be honest. Nothing much happens. It's just telling page after page of Louisa playing with the kids, Louisa taking the kids to the park, Louisa buys food for the kids, Louisa cooking food for the kids, Louisa hosting the parties. Nothing really much happened. As I said in the beginning of the book, there isn't much violence. There isn't blood and flesh that you normally would see in a horror books like this. In many ways, it's a good thing, especially involving the murder of children. But I am just confused about the book. I don't know what to think of it. I wouldn't recommend it, to be perfectly honest. I think it's a bit boring. Although there's lots of noise about this particular book on Amazon, the reviews are absolutely phenomenal. It also ends up being BBC cover-to-cover book club book. I know why it ended up in book club book, because book club books tend to be a little bit controversial, and so therefore there's lots of discussions. There's lots of opportunities for group discussion. But I don't see why it warrants such a high rating on Amazon. Personally, I wouldn't give it too much of second thought. But yeah, have you read this book? If so, what do you make of it? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also, have you read something similar, quite horrific subject matters, quite disturbing subject matters? Please let me know in the comment also, so that I can read them and do more videos like this. So this is a new channel, Harry's Book Cafe. Please give it a thumb up and subscribe. It really does help out with a new channel like mine. So cheerio, until next time.